Hello everyone and welcome to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis volume 19. So here we're going to discuss all of the pairs that we're watching and give you some of our perspective. Give you some predictions and explain our views. So this is really just to give you a good heads up for the up and coming week. So we're looking at gold, USDJPY, New Zealand JPY and USD CAD. In a separate video, just want to go over some things, but for the rest of it, it's just the purple ones in between here that I'll be looking at. So we'll start with New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So I'm looking at this in one more wave to the upside. We currently broke out of a wedge, and we still do have momentum to the upside. So I still think buys are still valid. Now for me, I've got this two trend lines drawn here, an extended one and one that's you can see is cutting through. So I'll be looking for price to find some sort of retaliation or support from this zone, and find some support. So I'll be looking for one more push to clear this level, and then we could be looking at a potential reversal. So once that happens, this scenario happens here, what I'll look for is price to make a clear break of this trend line and of course this trend line already, but more in fact this trend line here after we've made the high here, and this would signify that we could be pushing down, making a new correction. So I'll be looking for moves to the downside, and we could be targeting this zone here. So that's roughly at 0.63, actually 0.64. If we round that up nicely, so that's a good target to look at. So if we were to take that from the top to bottom, that's just around 300 pips. So I'm using this long-term move to my advantage, but I do believe that there is still a bit of a push to the upside. So again, just wait for the retest of this trend line, and if we do get a strong break, you could of course sell that. Just wait for the confirmation and to sell it off. So moving on now to the next one, so Euro USD. So this one has been an absolute rocket this week. Again, we were looking at two scenarios where I was looking at for a potential push to the downside, which obviously didn't play out. So now we've looking at the upside momentum. So all I'll be looking for is a retest at any of these levels here, but I still see this still pushing up for a long time. So I can see that this is still going to trend up. The best scenario to take advantage of this pair is to wait for a strong correction to the downside. So I'll be looking for price to make its way to the downside into this area here, or to potentially touch the uptrend here, cause some sort of reaction before we can find a level of support, and then we could make another push to the upside. I do think this could go all the way up. I don't really want to say, for example, an exact level. Of course, just want to look at what we're currently looking at right now. So this here is a monthly/weekly downtrend in purple, purple pink, and we're looking at this in a key break here. So what we could see is that strong correction now during this week. So we could start to see price descending. I'll be looking for buys, to be honest, just at any of these levels that I mark out. And then I'll be looking for support areas really, and then I'll be trying to buy this because I think this will still push a little bit higher. So my current bias is more towards the upside. Again, if we do break this downtrend, then we need more confirmation bias before I do consider sells. But we will obviously give you an update video for that. So moving on to AUDUSD. Pretty much the same situation with this pair. Again, I still think that there is a push more to the upside, one more move. We could see price retest this level, potentially finding a break to the downside, so a false breakout, and we could get one more push to the upside. So we need to make sure we clear this level, and then I'll be looking at a potential break to the downside into this level here, so this zone here. So if I round it up, it would be around 0.67800. So we do have this short-term move you could trade off, so into this point, 65 pips, but the upwards run potentially 160, and then if we can get an entry to the downside, we're looking to at least hold it all the way up until this level, so a good 400 pips. So there is a lot of opportunities here. Again, it's just about purely waiting for the setups, and of course if price does go our way, we need to make sure we're entering at safe positions and hedging our way to the downside obviously if this does happen. So that's my outlook for this pair. We'll move now on to the next one. So USDJPY we'll cover in the next video, but CADJPY, so I mentioned this before, that was looking for price to basically make its way to the upside, potentially find some resistance here, but you can clearly see price made an extension to the upside. I wonder what this looks like on the RSI. So yeah, we do have an overbought condition. Not so much divergence, but more of an overbought condition. So there were sellers here that caused this huge sell-off. So what I'll be looking for now is to see if price can make its way more to the downside, but this isn't actually the long-term move that I want to take. Of course, for the short term, I will take advantage of it, but I will be looking for some shorts potentially into this level. Highly doubt we will get there though, because if we look at these wick levels here, so if we look at this level here, we can see immense amounts of wicks here, so a lot of rejection here, so we can see a strong level. So I'm not sure if we will be able to get there. So what I'll be looking for is to see if we can get a retest of this, so price making a push to the upside, and then see if we can make a move to the downside. But the main move that I'll be looking for is wait for this to confirm, and look for some upside momentum, and I'm looking to target this level upside here. If I just adjust this zone, so if we look at around 81.8, so that's where I'm looking for my long-term position. And obviously, if you can see, this will be worthy of holding for a long time. I'll be looking to hedge my trades to the upside, and I think price will be able to make its way and push higher than this. But of course, it just depends how far we can push down. We may end up here. We may push all the. We may end up here before we get the move to the upside, or we may end up pushing really low, way lower to potentially 77. So it just really depends on what we're seeing in the moment time. So what we see, if we do have any changes with this scenario, we'll obviously provide a separate video for that. But for now, I'm just looking at some potential shorts, potentially into this region. But my long-term positioning is more towards the upside. Okay, so looking at EURJPY, I have a similar situation here as well. If I get rid of this, so I'm looking at this in a potential sell-off situation. The reason for this is, I'm seeing this in, a gradual rise to the upside. I'll be looking for sells to potentially push into this area of the market. I'm just seeing this point as a good form of support through these levels here. You can see resistance, 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 support, support, and obviously we've got multiple rejections to show that. But we could be looking at this level here, so 121.5. If we can get a good selling position into here, that's what we're looking at, and then we could see price stall. Potentially, we could get another extension of this level. I'm not too worried about that, but I will be selling this as much as I can. But price could push lower, potentially into this zone, but I highly doubt it. If it does, then it does, and then we'll adjust the situation. But I'm looking more towards the upside to break this level and see if we can push higher. So if we look at the the opportunity to trade on these levels, so to the downside it's 250, and then if we get an upside move, we're looking at another obviously 300. So I'm looking at this a very good opportunity, a very good potential trade to take. So keeping my eyes peeled for some selling positions, and then we could be looking at some nice moves to the upside. So just keep an eye out for that. New Zealand JPY, will do a video for tomorrow about this. Same story with AUDJPY. I'm looking at this same situation here. You can see price making a strong descent to the downside, so that's obviously a good sign. In terms of my short term, I'll be looking for the move to the downside. I'm not so sure if we will able to push way below this, but I'm looking definitely for shorts, for looking to see if this position of continuous momentum can continue further and push us lower. I do think it will. So I'm just going to try and sell into this move, and then I'll be looking for a move to the upside to clear this level at least, and we could be looking at another push higher. So if we get some selling points, say for example the start of this arrow, it could be looking at, if we was to look at a potential range level, I'd be looking at somewhere like here. Hold on, I'll do it in this color. Somewhere like this. Reason for this, we have multiple levels of wick rejections. Support and resistance. That's what you're really aiming to look for. Is a lot of resistance and support in one. I find that personally works for me. And then of course you can use the ultimate support zone, and I draw those in boxes. And price could make its way definitely to either scale, so it really just depends what price will want to do. But let's just say price from here to here, so that's 130, and then the upside move potential is around 250. So we'll see if we can get into either of those positions this week. Looking at USDCHF for the final pair for this video. So again, I was looking at price to make its way to downfall, but I was looking at this point to find some support. We obviously didn't get that, so we're looking at this now. Is this an extension? Is this do we find some potential move to the upside? So I'm looking at this personally as a potential pullback, which needs to come into this zone, because you can see how massively oversold we are into the RSI. Just as a momentum indicator, it's telling us this does need a pullback, so I'll be looking price to get into this range. And if we can start to see price pull into this area, we could be looking at the top side of this channel. Really, I'll be looking to hold this for quite a long time. So let's say we get into here as a buying option. To the upside moves about 250 pips, so it does has a good potential. It's just the matter of finding the reverse. If we can get the push to the upside, then we could start to see price push further higher. So that's pretty much all I'll be looking for. And then USD CAD will be a video tomorrow, just to give you a bit of a understanding about those pairs individually. So that's pretty much it for this video. We've gone through all of our charts and explain our views and some predictions. Now I'm not saying that these predictions will definitely play out. That's why we have to create these update videos on a day-to-day basis. So obviously I hope you're subscribed to the YouTube channel for all of the analysis updates, so you can stay on top of everything. But yeah, it's just a prediction tool that we use, and I hope you can use it to add some confidence to your own trading. So if you're new to this channel or you're a new trader, we have a trading group that you can join. That link is in the description below. I highly recommend you to join it. It gives you an insight, a bit more of our own trading on a day-to-day basis with some news. So I definitely do hope it helps you. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. And if you do have a question for us, you can message us on our Instagram, which is @KMTRADERS, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about for this video, for this week's volume analysis. We'll come back tomorrow and give you the 4 pairs that I wanted to talk about in a bit more detail, and that will be tomorrow. So again, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.